I know I'm laying at a very unflattering angle. Look at that chair. Hey, it's me. What's new, everybody? I am just, as usual, resting. I was redoing the front of my braids because I've had them in for excuse me, um, 6 weeks now, 5 or 6 weeks. I don't remember. 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. And the front was starting, my gray was starting to show in the front, so I had to. I put that up. Side. Yeah, this side. I think I put. I did something weird over here. Oh, wait. So anyway, I was redoing the front of my braids. I got some human hair that I'm gonna put in as it gets closer to the spring and summer. Cause I can't stand the way this synthetic hair feels against my skin. I just can't stand it. I guess that's why I have a hard time wearing synthetic wigs. Cause it makes me itch, and I can't stand. You see what I mean? I can't stand it. It doesn't stay soft. It's kind of like gets dry no matter what I do. I have all the stuff that I'm supposed to put on it. Yeah, everything, I know. And it still just does not have the same feel. So, what's been going on? Let's see, I'm 4.5 days away from finishing my first fieldwork affiliation. It has been a long and tough journey between having pneumonia and then just having a real interesting time with one of my educators, fieldwork CI, clinical instructor, and yeah. Anyway, I'm not going into that because you never know who sees what. But anyway, so that was a battle, but God is good, and so I managed the battle. I'm sorry to keep doing this, but I can't stand it. Anyway, I managed the battle. I didn't necessarily win it because I don't want to say I won that because it was a personality thing, but I did learn a lot. I have learned a lot. I'm still learning a lot. And as I said, I have 4.5 more days. I worked yesterday because I had to make up some days from pneumonia, and I'm actually treating patients on my own. I got to be line of sight with my CI, so and the laws, the way the Medicare laws are, I can't treat. We can't. Two of us can't treat at the same time. So anyway, well, that's another story. So I have tomorrow. I have half a day on Wednesday. Thursday, I give my last in service, my presentation, and Friday I'm done. And then I have a week off. Next week, I'm taking my son up to um, one of the universities in New York. Um, he's applied, and going to check that out. Hopefully, I'll be able to. I might. See, I'm thinking I might redo my hair during that week because I don't know when I'm gonna have more time to do it. But we'll see what happens. I did last week. Yeah, last Tuesday, I observed a total knee and a total hip replacement. I mean, right there, like like I could have just screwed up the whole thing with my if I had just reached my arm into the sterile field. That's how close I was. I didn't scrub in, but I was in the the booties and the scrubs but I didn't. I wasn't. I was like this. Um, those of you that are on my Facebook have heard my exuberance on seeing that because I thought it was one of the most exciting things I've ever experienced, and I may never experience it again. It was just a great opportunity. It was something that I really enjoyed seeing. Um, the bone, the way I mean to tell you that femoral head when they do that hip replacement and they chisel and it's like they're building a house up in that piece. The stuff that they're using, they gotta have good upper body strength because those tools, they're power tools. and they zoom, zoom, and that female head pops off like a Barbie's head. It's a sight to behold. And then they put a lining in the acetabulum. First of all, they root out the acetabulum, which is your hip socket, with this like reamer that looks like it's like a long piece, like this, like a. I'm holding a laptop. It's long, like longer than this, but I'm holding the laptop. Okay, like a long thing, and on the end of it is a ball that has like a cheese grater, and it goes into the acetabulum, which is your hip socket, and it's getting out all the necrotic bone, the dead bone, to get to the bloody bone. So it's like, and then they have to get another. Oh, we need a big one. It was beautiful. When I first went in to see the knee, the surgical tech, which the companies that provide the prosthetic equipment, uh, they have their own surgical tech, and he's like the expert in that. You know, the surgeon is the expert in the surgery, and this guy is the expert in the prosthetics. Amazing, interesting dynamic in that relationship, and if I wish that I knew that that job existed 10 years ago, because that's something that I probably would have been really interested in. But I'm not starting over again now. I'm on a track now, and it's too much. So, but any of you young people out there that are interested in getting into the medical field but don't necessarily want to go through the, there's malpractice insurance and all the rigmarole that goes with becoming a doctor. Surgical technician is a very good job, and if you can get a surgical technician position with a pharmaceutical company, that's what they're basically pharmaceutical companies, but like Dupuy or Dupuy is I want I want to say Smith and Wesson, but it's not Smith and Wesson. Those are the gun people. Something. Just Google like hip replacement or orthotic or orthopedic replacement. Not orthotic. Orthotic's a shoe implant. Orthopedic replacement manufacturers or something like that, because those people actually work for, they're like experts, so they are actually in the hospital for every surgery, but they work, I believe they work both for the pharmaceutical and for the hospital. So I'm not sure how that pay rate goes, but I heard they made them a fortune. And dude that was showing me was just cute. Not that that had anything to do with anything, but he was so knowledgeable and so sweet. And he was showing me, and he kept saying, "You get woozy? You get woozy?" I was like, "Man, do I look like I'm getting woozy? I want to be in that knee. What's he doing now?" I got so close, a little piece of kneecap hit me right in the head. Wait. And did you know that same needle that they use to put in tracks is this, and almost the same stitch is used to close up a suture, except for he does it with a whatever the clamp. But this dude could do a whole full sewing. He could do a sewing, and I'm telling you, that sewing would be like, I was like, yo, I was gonna say, man, you could do a side job, because he was a PA. He was closing on the surgeon had already left. Because basically the surgeon comes in, cuts, bangs, 10 minutes later his ass is gone and everybody else is in there cleaning everything up. But I was like, yo, if something happened, you mess up a knee, put it in backwards, whatever, you could do a full sew-in. Who knew? Anyway, so the guy was like telling me, what was I saying? Oh yes, it could be asking if I was woozy, but anybody who has, if you ever have the opportunity to observe or anything, did a lot of reading on it, and it's true. It's not necessarily the blood that gets you, because you really, unless you're seeing like a visceral cavity, like maybe a heart, I don't know, or it's an emergency surgery or trauma surgery, and they open and there's just all this blood. They suction out all the blood. The blood is just not flowing all over the place, so you don't really, it's not really blood, and whatever they're operating on is covered, so it's very impersonal almost, because you don't see the body as the body. You see just this knee. Okay. Now I had the opportunity to meet the lady that was getting the knee replacement surgery, because she happened to come in. I was in there when they were setting up the room. I watched her get her anesthesia, and coincidentally, she is now my patient at the rehab. Normally that wouldn't happen, because normally the people that have knee replacements, they go home after a week. I'm in a subacute rehab where, like, if someone's older or very deconditioned, or they feel like they just need a little bit more help, that's where they'll come. And it so happens that due to other health-related issues, she had to come to where I am. So I went in on Friday and I introduced myself, and I was like, "Your knee looks so great." She was like, "Oh." She said, you saw it? I said, yeah. She's like, don't tell me. I said, I'm not. It was a good job, though. Anyway, so she's my patient for the last week, which is a wonderful way to end up this thing. It's like almost like a full circle type thing. But, Bob and Weaving. What was I saying? Oh, what causes you to a lot of times become woozy is not the blood, because if you're going in there, you know you're gonna see blood. I mean, it's blood. Is that you're standing still and you have like a vagus response, which is the nerve that runs. Don't get me started there, because I'm not a surgeon. But it's a nerve. It's the nerve that happens like that causes a syncopal episode, which is fainting. So you stand in one place for a long time and concentrate, and don't move, and don't get your blood circulating. You just get lightheaded. And so that's usually the reason why people faint in operating rooms, because they're scared to move. They're concentrating to see what's happening. They don't want to get in the way. Sometimes the surgeries are long, and you're not, like standing and moving. So I was doing a lot of like back and forth, move my arms and different things like that. So I didn't really at all. And plus, it's a very it's cold. And at one point, the cement they use in the knee is like the acrylics that they use on the nails. But the smell is like times a million. It's so bad that they actually have to use a vacuum to suction out some of the fumes from it. But it's like that same consistency. The only thing is that it's hot, but it smells like that acrylic that they put in your nail. So anyway, that was my experience. What else is coming up? Um, I'm broke. Yeah, but that's okay because things are gonna work out. I'm convinced that God did not bring me this far to let me fall. So I graduate May 19th, and I've already put in some of my stuff. I've put in a couple of applications and go do some stuff because I'm gonna do some prereqs in the fall for my bachelor's master's. I am not going for my master's in behavioral psychology or my bachelor's in behavioral psychology. I am going for my occupational therapy master's. I decided that I'm going to take this to the end, and then if I decide to do anything else, I will. It feels like if I wouldn't finish if I didn't do this. So I will be going on for the next level of degree in this field, which is called an R, which is an occupational therapist. It is a master's. It used to be a bachelor's, but now it's a master's. So the most of the program, if you don't go straight through, well, if you go straight through, you end up with a master's. So you go from coming in and then you come out with a master's. So you go straight through. If I go back in, it's a dual bachelor's master's program. So I will be starting that hopefully sometime next year. If I can get my prereqs done. And so then I'll have my master's in occupational therapy, and if I decide to do anything else from there, I am going to also get my CASAC, credentialed alcohol and substance abuse counselor, but that's an out-of-pocket thing, so I have to wait a little bit of while before I can save up enough money to do that. But yeah, I have a plan, and so therefore this little minor setback in money, and it's because my son is back home. Because if he wasn't back home, Daddy would be paying for him, but Daddy got some. I don't want to talk about him because maybe. So, I did spend a day watch. I'm not going to go into this too much because I think it's been just talked about. But I thought the Whitney Houston service was absolutely beautiful. I was a very cynical person before this happened. I have a real problem with these celebrities and all of we got little kids getting killed every day, and people in the street every day, and then but I have to say that God opened my eyes to the fact that Sissy did bring church to the world, and it was interesting for me for one of my subscribers and view some I'm subscribed to in Malta, and she was just totally moved by it so much so that she said that she would like to go to a church like that. And to me, that's what it's all about. Anyway, 15 minutes. Love you all. Namaste.